Hi everyone, and welcome back to my desk. In a typical project, when you need some input from the user, we typically resort to either push buttons or some of the tactile switches so the user can press on a physical button to trigger an action. But we have another option where we can use this really inexpensive touch sensors to provide direct control like this, where we can trigger the relay without any microcontroller, just with the sensor. Or if you are using an ESP32, then you can use the built-in touch capabilities of some of the pins that the ESP has to control this LED in this case. But we can also do whatever action that is required. So stick around to see how you can use this sensor, how you can access the touch control on the ESP, and how you can tie this together in your future projects. Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty of what this sensor is and what it can do, I want to thank Altium Develop for sponsoring today's video. If you build electronics, you know how complicated collaboration can get. Different tools, endless meetings, and version chaos that slows everyone down. Altium Develop changes that. It's a cloud platform built for real co-creation, bringing electrical, mechanical, software, and sourcing teams together in one shared space. Instead of jumping between disconnected tools, everyone works on the same data in real time. Designers can create schematics and PCBs, procurement teams can manage parts and pricing, and manufacturing can review designs before production, all in one place. Every change, comment, and decision stays in context, so no one's left guessing. You can track progress, manage requirements, and resolve issues before they become problems. No silos, no delays. Just clear, connected teamwork that keeps projects moving fast, where it's easy to bring the right people into the process whenever you need them. If you're ready to move from working together to working as one, check out Altium Develop at the link in the video description. Okay, so what this is the TTP223 touch sensing module that is based on the same number of chips. So both the module and the chip bear the same name, but they are referred to as a single thing. It comes with 3 pins on the breakout. You can see we have VCC there on the left, we have ground here on the right, and the output pin in the middle. So depending on what state this is, this can be either high or low, and it's being triggered when you get your finger close to the sensing pad that you have on the other side, where we have this printed touch part. And on the bottom there are 2 configuration pads that we can use, named A and B, that we can either jump across to put this into a different mode that I can show you in the small demo that I did. Now, for the configuration, the 2 pads that we have here, pad A and B, have different purposes, and pad A determines the active state of the touch sensor. In this current setup, none on the first one, both A and B are not connected together. So we have the 2 relays being active because they're being triggered active low. So that means that the output is now connected to ground, and that triggers the relay. But as soon as I get my finger close to the first pad, you can see that this actually triggers the relay to switch state. And for as long as I hold my finger on the pad, it's gonna stay that way, because this is not a toggling state, so it's more functioning like a push button. While on the second example, I have pad B connected together, and this tells the touch sensor to function more as a traditional switch. So when I touch it, it goes into different states, and it keeps that state until I touch it again. So basically functions as a regular switch that we can toggle on and off. While the first one, and this is the default configuration with nothing jumped behind, functions more as a push button that connects the VCC to the output once we touch it. Now, I also have 2 more examples where I've connected. On this one, I just connected pads A, and on this one I connected both pad A and pads B together. So let's replace them now. And to show you better, I'm actually gonna toggle my power supply to be off, and then I'm gonna toggle it on. So you can see that compared to the modules before, because we now have pad A connected on both of these modules, these are now working in reverse. So this one is still a push button because pads B's are not connected. So when I touch it, you can see now the LED here turns off, but it triggers the relay. And when I release it, it comes back to the default state where now it connects the pin to VCC, keeping it high, and that keeps the relay off. And the second one, with both of the pads being connected at the same time, still functions as a switch, but the default state when I toggle the power is for it to be active, and it keeps the output low and it keeps the relay off. Now, if I add the module that has pad B connected, you could see this in action, because now both of these are configured to be as switches, but as soon as I power them on, you'll see that the one with the A pad is being triggered immediately, and the one that is not connecting the A pads together is currently not active, but we can press it and it continues to operate. And from this point on, they both work the same. It's only the initial state that is different on both, that you can configure depending on how you want them to operate. By default, the modules are relatively sensitive, so you can see that even if I get close enough without actually touching them, they'll be triggered. So I'm not really touching it. And you can see here, my finger is quite high, but that still is enough to trigger the operation of the touch sensor. And this is really helpful if we want to have them placed under a lid inside our project enclosure, so we can have some 3D printed plastic or any cover from electrical boxes or similar where we have the sensor behind that and it would still operate as a touch sensor. But if that is too sensitive for your application, there is also a way how you can add a very small capacitor on those pads there to reduce the sensitivity of the module. But there are also times where you would want to increase the sensitivity, and that is easily done by just providing a larger touch surface. And in this example, I did just that by soldering a small wire to the actual touchpad and using it to make sort of coil that can really vary the capacitance that it produces. So as soon as I get my hand close to the coil, that would trigger the touch sensor to be triggered on and off. And if this is under some sort of a lid of an enclosure, then this can provide the necessary increase in sensitivity if we have a project that is needing that. So you can see as soon as I get close with my hand, that triggers. And sometimes this is a bit difficult even to trigger because of the sensitivity. And if I'm not far enough in between the triggers, you can see that not always the value will change. So the module will actually need some time to reset and get a reference capacitance that you can then change to trigger it. And you can see now it kind of doesn't even want to trigger. So be careful when you're doing this modification and make sure that it actually operates with the enclosure that you have and it's reliable enough for what you need. Now the TTP223 module will work with any microcontroller of choice because they are compatible and work from about 2 volts up to 5 volts. So we can use them with ESP32 on 3.3, and we can also use them with many of the Arduinos on 5 volts. The demo that you saw previously with the relays was actually powered from 5 volts. And to wire this into the ESP or any other microcontroller, you can just treat it as a normal digital input where the input pin can be connected to digital input and can be read as high or low. But if you are to use a microcontroller, and specifically if you are using the ESP32, you can use touch directly because there is support on the ESP32 on 10 of its pins that you can do touch actions. So for example, I have set it up here where 3 of the pins, pin D4, D15, and D27 are configured as touch inputs. So whenever I touch any of the wires, you'll see that the onboard LED will toggle, and there's a bit of sensitivity difference between each of them, but it's reliable enough that you can use to trigger the action on the project that you need. But keep in mind that unlike the touch sensors here, where it's actually a capacitive touch, this will need to be a physical touch. So if I touch the wire through the insulation, you'll see that this doesn't really do anything, but you actually need to touch the wire or any metal surface that you have the wire connected to on your enclosure to act as a trigger. And this, with the code that I have inside, will trigger the LED. Now let's jump to the computer so I can show you how you can configure this with the Arduino IDE. Here in the Arduino IDE, I have this example that is running on the demo that you just saw, and I'll have link to the full code down in the video description if you want to check it out. But I have 3 of the pins defined as touch pins. These are just the regular definitions to T0, T3, and T7, which correspond to GPIO 4, GPIO 15, and GPIO 27. The LED on my board is on pin 2, and there is a certain threshold that you can apply to have this as being triggered on and off, and this will vary with the board that you have, so make sure that you investigate and find the right value that you have. Other than that, I'm doing some output to the serial console, and this is the entire magic that makes this possible. There is a touch reads function that you can invoke on the specific touch pin to get the value that the current pin corresponds with, and if that is different from the last state and that is beyond the threshold that we have, then we can trigger the LED. And I can demonstrate this by touching one of the pins, and you can see that once we did that, this section of the code got triggered and we get the information which one of the pins were actually touched. So in this first example, I'm touching GPIO 4, but if I touch the other one, you can see it's being recognized as GPIO 15. And if I touch GPIO 27, that is also recognized, and you can have different logic and different actions based on the actual pin that you are touching. So you can use direct control inside your projects, even though you don't really have any physical buttons to press. Now, using touch is very project specific requirement, but when you need it, you can have a bunch of these inexpensive modules that I'll have links for down in the video description in your arsenal to use on the project as any regular switch or as any regular push button. But if you are using ESP32, then maybe you can use the native touch sensing capabilities that exist on it. In any case, if you have any ideas for projects that can be touch controlled, feel free to leave them down in the video description. Make sure to subscribe so you see me do other walkthroughs of sensors and explanations of projects in the future. I have a Patreon where you can support my work if you found this to be interesting. YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video next, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Cheers!